An ordinary house cat stole all the puppies from the neighbor's dog. When the pet owners learned the real reason behind what happened, they could hardly believe their eyes. Lucy was always an unusual cat. Her sandy fur and bright green eyes caught people's attention, but that wasn't what made her special. Lucy had a strong maternal instinct that went far beyond normal feline behavior. The Johnson family, Sarah, Tom, and their daughter Emily, adopted Lucy when she was still a kitten. They found her in a cardboard box near a supermarket. Small and scared, Lucy was shivering from cold and fear, her big eyes full of tears. Emily, who was only 8 at the time, immediately fell in love with the tiny kitten and begged her parents to take her home. The first few weeks in her new home were challenging for Lucy. She hid under the bed, only coming out at night to eat and drink. Emily showed incredible patience, spending hours sitting on the floor near the bed, quietly talking to the kitten. Gradually, Lucy began to trust her new family. As Lucy grew, her personality started to shine. She was incredibly smart and curious. Lucy quickly learned how to open doors, turn lights on and off, and even bring Emily's school backpack to her in the morning. Years passed, and Lucy showed an extraordinary care for other animals. When Emily once brought home an injured bird, Lucy immediately took it under her wing. She sat by the box where the bird lay, guarding it and even trying to feed it. Thanks to Lucy's care, the bird recovered and was able to fly away. One day during a heavy storm, a nest with baby squirrels fell into the Johnsons' yard. Without hesitation, Lucy ran out into the pouring rain and carried the squirrels one by one to a safe place on the porch. She kept them warm with her body all night until the welcome to spa stories, where the line between the known and the unknown fades and the shadows whisper truths untold. Tonight, we delve into the primal connection between humans and animals, a bond forged in trust, sometimes fear, and always in mystery. Rain stopped and their mother returned. Lucy became a local celebrity. Neighbors often visited the Johnsons to see the extraordinary cat. Children loved to play with her, and Lucy seemed to enjoy these games just as much. One day, Sarah noticed that Lucy was behaving strangely. The cat often sat by the window looking out with a sadness in her eyes. She barely ate and seemed depressed. The Johnson were worried and decided to take Lucy to the vet. The vet informed them that Lucy was pregnant. This news brought a mix of emotions to the family. Emily was thrilled at the thought of having kittens. Sarah worried about Lucy's health, and Tom began planning a space for the new pets. The following weeks were spent preparing for the kittens' arrival. Emily made a cozy nest from old blankets and pillows. Tom bought special food for pregnant cats, and Sarah kept a close eye on Lucy's condition. Finally, the day of the birth arrived. Lucy hid in the corner of the garage, refusing any human assistance. The family waited anxiously, hearing occasional soft meows from the garage. After a few hours, Lucy came out looking exhausted but proud. However, to the Johnsons' surprise, she did not bring any kittens with her. Tom carefully looked into the nest Lucy had made, and his heart sank at what he saw. 3 tiny kittens lay motionless. They were stillborn. The vet, who was called, urgently explained that this sometimes happens, especially with young cats. Lucy was inconsolable. She refused to leave her nest, constantly licking and trying to warm her kittens. The Johnsons didn't know how to help their beloved cat cope with her grief. They tried distracting her with toys and treats, but Lucy showed no interest in anything. A week went by, and Lucy finally left her hiding place. But she was no longer the cheerful cat the Johnsons knew. She became quiet and distant, spending hours by the window, staring into space. Emily tried to play with her, but Lucy showed no interest. Sarah and Tom began to worry seriously about Lucy's health. They consulted the vet and tried to find ways to help the cat overcome her depression. Emily even started reading aloud to Lucy, hoping that the sound of her voice would comfort the cat. Then one hot summer day, everything changed. Emily was playing in the yard when she heard a strange noise coming from behind the fence. She went closer and saw Lucy carrying a puppy, a small whimpering black puppy. Emily couldn't believe her eyes. She called her parents, and soon the entire Johnson family watched in amazement as Lucy gently placed the puppy on the ground and began licking it as if it were her own kitten. The Johnsons were confused. They didn't know where the puppy had come from or what to do next. Tom suggested taking it to the police or a shelter, but Sarah hesitated. She saw how tenderly Lucy was licking the puppy and didn't want to separate them while the adults argued. Emily brought an old basket and a soft blanket from the house. She carefully placed the puppy in the basket and Lucy immediately jumped in, snuggling up to the little one. The scene melted Sarah and Tom's hearts, and they decided to keep the puppy for the time being. The following days were filled with excitement and concern. The Johnsons put up posters all over the neighborhood about the found puppy, but no one responded. Meanwhile, Lucy showed incredible care for the little one. She stayed by its side, constantly licking it and keeping it warm with her body. Emily was surprised to discover that Lucy had begun to nurse the puppy. Even though cats' dogs are different species, Lucy's milk seemed suitable for the puppy. The vet whom the Johnsons invited was amazed by this phenomenon and noted that such cases are extremely rare but possible. Lucy nursed the puppy every 2 hours, even waking up at night, showing true maternal care. On the third day after the first puppy appeared, Lucy disappeared again. The Johnsons didn't think much of it, assuming the cat had gone for a walk, but when she returned, she was carrying another puppy in her mouth. This puppy was slightly larger than the first, with the same black fur. Lucy brought it straight to the basket with the first puppy and began caring for both with equal tenderness. Now the Johnsons were truly puzzled. Where was Lucy getting these puppies from? Why was she bringing them home? Tom began to suspect that somewhere nearby there was a dog that had recently given birth and for some reason wasn't caring for her puppies. Sarah suggested they go around the neighborhood and ask about any dogs that had recently given birth, but before they could do this, Lucy brought home a third puppy, then a fourth, and a fifth. By the end of the week, the Johnsons had 5 little black puppies in their home, all under Lucy's watchful care. The cat showed remarkable resourcefulness in taking care of her unusual family. Although Lucy tried her best to feed all 5 puppies, her milk wasn't enough for the growing litter. Realizing this, Emily started supplementing the puppies with formula from a bottle. Lucy seemed to understand the need for additional feeding and patiently waited while Emily fed each puppy, then lovingly licked their faces as if completing the feeding process. News of the cat, who became a foster mother to puppies, quickly spread around the neighborhood. Neighbors came to see this miracle of nature. Some admired Lucy, calling her a hero. Others were worried and suspicious. Mrs. Parker, an elderly lady living across the street, claimed she saw Lucy sneaking around at night. With a suspicious look, she began spreading rumors that the cat was stealing puppies from unfortunate dogs. Mr. Rodriguez, the local bakery owner, on the other hand, was delighted with Lucy. He brought fresh buns to the Johnsons and the puppies every day, saying that such an amazing family deserved a special treat. Children from nearby houses constantly asked to visit to see the unusual family. Emily proudly showed them how Lucy cared for the puppies, telling stories about each one as if they were her siblings. However, not everything was smooth. Caring for 5 puppies and a cat began to wear down the Johnsons. The cost for food and veterinary services were growing, and the house was constantly filled with noise and bustle. Tom and Sarah started arguing about what to do next. Tension was rising, not only in the Johnson household but also in the entire neighborhood. Some neighbors began to talk about culling animal control. They feared Lucy could be dangerous if she was indeed stealing puppies from other dogs. Tom started noticing people watching their house. He saw neighbors whispering and pointing at their windows. One day he even noticed a man with a camera taking pictures of their house from a car. Sarah was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. She loved Lucy and the puppies, but the constant attention and judgment from neighbors were wearing her down. She began to fear leaving the house, feeling the judging eyes on her seeing her parents' distress. Emily decided to take matters into her own hands. She started her own investigation, trying to figure out where Lucy was bringing the puppies from. The girl spent hours sitting by the window, watching the cat, hoping to follow her on her next mission. Meanwhile, Lucy seemed completely unaware of the chaos around her. She continued to lovingly care for the puppies, playing with them and teaching them cat habits. It was amazing to to watch the little puppies try to mimic cat movements as Lucy showed them how to wash themselves with a paw one evening. When the tension reached its peak, there was a knock on the Johnsons' door. Standing on the doorstep was a police officer accompanied by several concerned neighbors. He explained that he had received complaints and needed to discuss Lucy and the puppies. The Johnsons led the officer into the house, their hearts pounding with fear and uncertainty. They didn't know how this visit would end, but they were ready to defend Lucy and her unusual family to the end. The officer walked into the living room where Lucy lay in a large basket surrounded by 5 puppies. Seeing this sight, even the stern law enforcer couldn't hold back a surprised exclamation. He carefully examined the puppies and Lucy, asking the Johnsons about their origins. The family honestly shared everything they knew, including how Lucy had brought the puppies one by one. At that moment, Emily, who had been silent until now, stepped forward. She told the officer about her observations of Lucy and how the cat often went towards the old abandoned house on the edge of town. The officer decided to check this information together with Tom. They went to the old house, leaving Sarah and Emily at home with Lucy and the puppies. After an hour, they returned and their faces were very serious. They had found a young stray dog in the abandoned house who had recently given birth to puppies. The dog was sick and emaciated, unable to care for her offspring. Finally, everything fell into place. Lucy, driven by her maternal instinct, wasn't stealing puppies but saving them from certain death. She had been bringing them home one by one, knowing she couldn't carry them all at once. News quickly spread throughout the town. The story of the cat who had rescued orphan puppies touched the hearts of all the residents. Attitudes towards the Johnsons and Lucy changed drastically. Now everyone wanted to help them. The vet agreed to treat the mother dog for free while the puppies remained under Lucy's care. The Johnsons were amazed as they watched their cat continue to look after the puppies with unwavering love. Lucy's story and her adopted puppies became a viral sensation on the internet. People from across the country expressed their admiration for the cat's kindness and selflessness. When the mother dog recovered enough to be reunited with her puppies, everyone was anxious to see how Lucy would react, but the cat showed incredible understanding, allowing the biological mother to join her children while still playing the role of a loving aunt, spending long hours with them. This story changed not only Lucy and the puppy lives, but also the entire town. People became kinder to one another, more often helping neighbors. The local animal shelter reported a record number of animals finding new homes. Lucy became a symbol of how maternal instinct and love can transcend boundaries between species. She showed that even in the hardest of times, kindness and care can create true miracles. Remember, the next time you hear the rustle of leaves or feel unseen eyes watching, it could be more than just your imagination.